So I was born here in the United States, but my family was fortunate enough to get out of Vietnam at the midst of the Vietnam War. So my mom left Vietnam around 1974, I believe, and she mentioned that she was on the last chartered flight out of Vietnam. And it was at the benefit of my grandfather. He was actually a very high-ranking military official for the South Vietnam Army. And so he was able to have certain benefits to relocate his family. And prior to my mom and her sisters going from Vietnam to the United States, some of my uncles were already here to build up the nest egg. And so they were actually very, very successful in doing so. And they actually got into stockbrokering back in the day during the Pursuit of Happiness from Will Smith time. When I was growing up, my parents had this idea of having me become one of the big four, big five industry people, right? Which is either going to be a lawyer, a doctor, a accountant, something along those lines. And so what stuck in my head for the longest time while I was growing up was to be a lawyer. So through high school, I found a niche in high school where, I was like, let me explore marketing a little bit. So I did the whole high school DECA where you go into a local marketing kind of role play kind of situation. I learned how to convey my message. I learned how to market certain products or certain situations by finding a problem. And with every single problem out there, that has a great opportunity. An opportunity to place yourself to provide a service or to provide a product. Throughout college, I decided that I wanted to go far, far, far away from home. And so I chose the furthest school away from home possible, which was a 7-hour drive from the top of Virginia all the way down to the other corner of Virginia. And something shifted in me as I was studying my business administration. I was like, you know what, Mom? I want to be a chiropractor. I want to go and just get my medical degree. I just wanted to shift things off. And she said, that sounds like a great idea. Finish your degree first, and then you can do it with your own money. My mom and my dad have been very valuable in my education. They set up a great 529 plan for me and for my brother. And so going out of college, not going into a significant amount of debt, right? Still having some. But one thing I found was a really hard challenge was during that whole crisis back in 2007, 2008, I overheard conversations of, my dad losing, $200,000 in his 401k. They make the joke now in the industry. They say, oh, you have a 401k, it's probably now a 101k. And then, so my mom decided that she wanted to go and become an entrepreneur as well. So she went out and decided to invest into a digital marketing and printing agency. And this was way before a lot of the, e-printing and digital marketing side. So it was very printing press. And one of the challenges was it shifted. Everything shifted in the world, right? A lot of people weren't just printing newspapers and magazines all the time anymore. People were looking at tablets, people were looking at websites, people were looking at all these, and it really, it was a struggle, right? And we really struggled through that to the point where I had to make the decision to leave my four-year university and go back to community college just to see if I can cut costs, to not be a financial burden during this extreme tough time. And so during school, I was working full-time whilst doing, full coursework as well. And, still taking the 16 to 18 credit hours per semester. And I just realized, I was like, I have to finish college as fast as possible. I have to get my bachelor's degree as fast as possible. So my last year at a four-year university, going back to Southwest Virginia, I decided to cram 24 credit unit hours in one semester. And in this next semester, I took another 21 credits just so that I can get out of there on time. But after college, I was like, I really want to get into this fitness thing. I really want to get into this fitness thing. I want to train people. So from business administration now to personal training. It completely, what a 180 shift. And so I got into personal training. I just remember, I just wanted to help people. I wanted to help people with their fitness goals, with their journey, with their diet, with their nutrition. And then all of a sudden I was a fitness manager, I was a personal trainer, I was selling memberships, I was doing some nutrition on the side, I was doing all sorts of things. And I was working probably upwards of 80, 100 hours a week. And I was making pretty decent money. But one thing that shifted in me at that point in time when I was working so hard and working so many hours was, what am I doing with my life? Right, I'm making decent money, but what am I really doing here? Right? What's for me? What does Michael want? So one pivotal thing was I didn't go to my little sister's birthday party for many years because I was just working so often. I was missing out on family events. I was missing out on precious experiences that I can't go back to. So my mom said to me, she pulled me aside one day and she said, Michael, you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. I looked at her, I was like, what the heck does that mean? I had no idea. But weeks later, I decided that I needed to make a big change in my life. So that's when I decided to join the financial services industry. I found that you don't have to die to use life insurance anymore. You can activate it in the event of a chronic illness, critical injury, or a terminal illness. Right? So strokes, heart attacks, cancers, these kind of things, that you can access that $1 million death benefit or that $500,000 death benefit, just so that way you don't have to go broke. That way you don't have to have a GoFundMe. That way you don't have to go through a bankruptcy. And you don't have to rely on other means, other people, other resources, just for you to get better.